Hello students, myself Nimesh Bhandari. Today, as a subject social science, we will learn about the topic the interior of the earth. We will learn about inside our earth, that is, what our earth consists of. Now, what are the objectives of this particular chapter? That is, to identify the structure of the earth, differentiate between the different layers of the earth, analyze the layers and components it is made up of, explain the rock cycle and formation of different kind of rocks, identify the kind of minerals and its usage. Now just look at this flow chart which is visible for you here. That is, the interior of the earth consists of the upper layer that is known as of the earth is known as crust, the middle portion that is known as mantle, then the layer known as core, which consists of two parts, that is outer core and inner core. On the next side there are rocks and minerals. Type of minerals: organic, inorganic, and type of rocks are igneous, that is it is divided into two parts: extrusive and intrusive rocks, sedimentary rocks, and lastly the metamorphic rock. We will also discuss about the rock cycle. Now about the earth. Now the earth, that is our homeland, is a dynamic planet. It is constantly undergoing changes inside and even outside. Now see, this earth can be compared to the onion as per the layers of the earth. Now when we talk about the interior of the earth, just like an onion, the earth is also made up of several concentric layers with one inside another. See this diagram of the earth. You can see that earth is divided into three main parts. That is, the topmost layer is crust, the middle layer which is known as the mantle, and the interior, the innermost layer, is known as core. Now core can be divided into two parts: inner core and outer core. Now crust. The uppermost layer of the earth's surface is called the crust. Now it is the thinnest of all the layers. Crust is one of the thinnest layers of the all three layers available on the surface of the earth. Now one of the fact is that the crust forms only 0.5% the volume of the earth. 16% consists of the mantle and 83% makes the core. Now what is the volume? The space occupied by that particular thing, that is the crust. Next is the continental crust and the oceanic crust. Now when you talk about the continental and the oceanic crust, when you talk about particularly the continents, the crust is about 35 kilometers on the continents. That is, the the space occupied by the crust is 35 kilometers and only 5 kilometers on the ocean floors. When you go deep inside the oceans, the layer of the crust is only 5 kilometers broad. Okay. Now the oceanic crust mainly consists of silica and magnesium. Two things. One is silica and magnesium. That is why it is also known as SEMA. That is, two things are combined: silica and magnesium. SEMA. Okay. Now the main minerals constituents of the continental mass are silica and alumina. Okay. In the continents, it consists of alumina and silica. Fine. Now the mantle. What is mantle? Which part is known as mantle? Just beneath the crust is the mantle, which extends up to depth of 2900 kilometers below the crust. Okay, it is below the crust. Next is the core. Now the core is the inner most layer in the core with a radius of about 3500 kilometer. As we have seen, the crust was 35 kilometers. Here the core consists, it is 3500 kilometer. It is mainly made up of nickel and iron, and it is called knife. As it consists of nickel, that is symbol is Ni, and ferrous, that is iron. Okay. The central core has very high pressure in temperature and pressure. Now central core is it has a very high pressure, right? It can melt lot of things. That is why in the magma chamber beneath the earth's surface there is magma present in it. Interesting facts. The deepest mine in the world is in South Africa. It is about 4 kilometers deep. In search for oil, engineers have dug a hole of about 6 kilometers deep. Now, to reach the center of the earth, which is not possible actually, you have to dig a hole of 6,000 kilometers deep on the ocean floor, and that is practically impossible. Okay, now next is the rocks and minerals. The earth crust is made up of various type of rocks. Okay, now the earth crust is made up of various type of rocks, means different type of rocks. And now what is rocks then? Any natural mass of minerals, matter that makes up the earth crust, the topmost layer of the earth, is called a rock. Okay, you might have seen rocks are present on the surface of the earth. Rocks can be of different color, size and texture. Texture means, different you can see different texture, means different colors only. Okay, now the type of rocks. Mainly the rocks are divided into three types: igneous rock, sedimentary rocks and metamorphic rocks. Now the igneous rock means, igneous means fire. Okay, mostly these rocks are generated, or we get this from volcanic eruptions. Then sedimentary rocks, I will explain you in the next slide, and even the metamorphic rock. Now, as I have told you that igneous, it is a Latin word which means ignis, that is fire. Sedimentary means, sedimentum means settling down. Layers after layers of rocks are formed, and that is known as sedimentary rocks. It becomes sedimentary rock. Metamorphic means, it is a Greek word which means metamorphose, meaning change form. When it is, any rock goes through a very high temperature and pressure, it changes into a different form. That is known as metamorphic rock. Now igneous rock, as I have already told you, its meaning is fire. When the molten magma cools, it becomes solid. Rock thus formed are called igneous rock. Whenever there is a volcanic eruption, the molten magma, okay, it comes out of the volcanic eruption. When it cools down and it becomes solid, igneous rocks are formed. And because of that, it is known as primary rocks, because initially these rocks are only forming. There are even two different type of igneous rocks: intrusive and extrusive. Okay, let us learn in detail. First of all, we will learn about the extrusive igneous rock. Lava, as it is written, is actually fiery red molten magma coming out from the interior of the earth on the surface. When this molten lava comes on the earth's surface, it rapidly cools down. See, whenever you heat something, afterward it rapidly cools down. Same thing is here happening, right? That the lava, when it comes out of the volcanic eruption, slowly and gradually it cools down. The process is quick comparatively, and it becomes solid. Rocks formed in such a way on the crust or the earth crust is known as extrusive igneous rocks. They have a very fine grained structure. For example, basalt. The Deccan Plateau is made up of basalt rock. Basalt is a kind of a rock, which example is also given here. Okay. Now the intrusive rocks. Intrusive igneous rock, that is. Sometimes the molten magma cool downs deep inside the earth crust. Solid rocks are formed, are called intrusive igneous rock. See, understand this thing. Sometimes the molten magma cools down deep inside the earth crust. Inside the earth crust, it getting cooled down. Okay. So that time it is forming intrusive igneous rock, because inside, that is why it is known as intrusive, and that was extrusive. Since they cool down slowly, they form large grains. Grains means granite kind of, very fine granules. Granite is an example of such a rock. Grinding stones used to prepare paste, powder of spices and grains are made up of granite. Okay, fineness of that. Next one is the extrusive igneous rock cools down quickly. As a result, these rocks are fine grained or has lack of crystal growth. Okay, because it is extrusive means outside the surface of the earth, right? So that is why it cools down very quickly, and these rocks are fine grained or has lack of crystal growth. Okay, it is not like a crystal. Okay, it forms very rough kind of. Intrusive igneous rocks are formed from magma that cools slowly, and as a result these rocks are coarse grained means it has a very fine granules. Okay, next thing is sediments and sedimentary rocks. Now rocks roll down, crack, hit each other and broken down into small fragments. These smaller particles are called sediments. See, the weathering process you might have seen, especially in the rainy seasons. What happened when you travel by a road, you might have seen that the road breaks up in the on the either side of the road. Okay, and the rocks mostly in the village area, so you might have seen this thing happening. So weathering process also has an impact on the rocks. These sediments are transported and deposited by wind, water, etc. They loose sediments are composed and hardened to form layers of rocks. This type of rocks are called sedimentary rock. For example, sandstone is made from grains of sand. These rocks may also contain fossils of plants, animals and other microorganisms that once lived on them. See, what happens is that because of the weathering process, when rain occurs, right, when there is a rainfall, what happens is the rocks or the upper crust of the earth, it washes away. It moves from the sediments of that, moves from one place to another. That leads to the formation of layer after layers, and that forms sedimentary rocks. Important fact: igneous and sedimentary rock can change into metamorphic rock under great heat and pressure. As I have discussed previously also, that when great pressure and heat is when great heat and pressure is exerted on a rock, it changes into another form of rock that is known as metamorphic rock. Okay, for example, clay changes into slate and limestone into marble which we use in our houses. Now, uses of rock. The hard rocks are used for making roads, houses and buildings. Okay, it is used for various purposes like construction work, that is building of houses and buildings. Stones are also used in many games. For example, 7 stone that we call it as pittu. Okay, 5 stone gitti. Rocks are used in making monuments like Taj Mahal, Red Fort. It is the monuments also are built by that. Now, what is rock cycle? It is a very important topic, rock cycle. The process of transformation of rock from one to another under certain condition in a cyclic manner. Okay, in a cyclic manner that continues is known as rock cycle. Now see here the process of rock cycle. See, one is magma, second is igneous rock, then it changes to sediments, then lastly at great pressure and heat it changes into metamorphic rock. When the molten magma cools, it solidifies to become igneous rock. Okay, slowly it solidifies the magma and it becomes igneous rock. These rocks are broken down into small particles. Then it gets small, broken down into very small particles that are transported and deposited to form sedimentary rock. Now, when the igneous and sedimentary rocks are subjected to heat and pressure, it changes into some other form that we have already discussed, that is metamorphic rock. Now, this metamorphic rock, which are still under great heat and pressure, melts down once again to form molten magma. Now, this metamorphic rock, when it is going beneath the surface of the earth, what happens? Because of the great heat and pressure exerted there, it changes into molten magma. This molten magma again cool down and solidifies into igneous rock. Now see, the same process will continue. Like when this metamorphic rock changes into molten magma, it goes beneath the surface of the earth, and whenever there is a volcanic eruption, again it comes out and it forms igneous rock. Now, did you know rocks are made up of different minerals? What are minerals then? Minerals are natural occurring substances which have certain physical properties and definite chemical compositions, right? Now minerals are very important to humankind. Some are used as fuels. For example, we use it, right? Petrol for our cars and bikes. Natural gas also is used, that is CNG, compressed natural gas, we are using in a compressed manner. Coal for getting electricity. They are also used in industries like iron, aluminium, gold, uranium, etc. In medicine, in fertilizers, etc. Okay, so thank you.